Okay, hi everyone. I'm Helen Taylor. Welcome to my show, Inspired Radio. I'm here with you every Wednesday for conversations and stories to inspire you. Before I get started, I just want to thank my sponsors. Thank you, thank you, thank you, all of you. Inspired Radio is all about change and getting uncomfortable and shaking up the status quo. We are breaking free from limiting systems and limiting lives and embracing our infinite potential. My guests are here to tell their story because storytelling is creating the new world. So let me introduce today's guest. My next guest is Nina Smith. Through her own journey in life, Nina has discovered a beautiful and deeply intuitive way of understanding colour, not simply as something that we wear, but as something that can reflect and connect us with who we truly are. Nina's colour readings are a sacred, personalised experience that move beyond fashion trends and conventional ideas of what colours should suit us. Instead, she explores the colours that resonate with your individuality and special shades that amplify your authentic, unique nature. I'm really looking forward to exploring Nina's journey, her relationship with colour, and what happens when we stop following the rules and start listening to what feels right for us. So, Nina, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Helen, for having me, inviting me to your podcast. I'm very excited. Thank you.
I just love that you've got a whole different angle on colour. What's your angle?
So, my angle, it started off in fashion, of course.
Uh-huh.
Not of course, but um, I discovered color analysis. That's the classic word for it. In the 90s, and I did my own colors, so everyone knows how to drape colors around the face, and it's a
Everybody knows that model, don't they? To
they
some
do.
degree, yes.
That's right.
Mhm.
And it's sort of you're categorized into spring, summer, autumn, winter, and there's now different kind of sub seasons and all of this. And so I did my own colors years ago with a book called Color Me Beautiful, and I categorized myself into a spring, which is all the beautiful tulip colors, fresh green grass. And then I wanted to know more because I started working in fashion because I did a fashion or dressmaking degree in Germany, and I wanted to know how to make clothes for people, but clothes that actually suited that person in terms of color as well. And so I thought it'd be really good to dive into that and know what colors would suit a person.
Sure.
And yeah, I then did this color analysis course. I was trained as a color expert and realized my colors weren't spring colors. My colors were actually more in the cooler tones, like a summer. So those tones are more like grays and soft blues and soft pinks. And so this is how my journey then started. So I did a lot of color analysis with people.
Mhm.
It started becoming it. It wasn't the same like dressmaking or making clothes for people and getting people to do their colors. They were always separate businesses for me. They were always, and that was interesting for me to see because I thought it would be such a beautiful bridge between those two.
Sure.
And yeah, and then when I moved here to Australia, I dived further into that, but I also kept working in the fashion industry, did more work in academia, teaching fashion design. And so eventually my color, I did it for myself, but I didn't focus as much on it. And then obviously when 2020 everything hit the
Oh
fan.
my gosh, those numbers, those numbers. Yep.
Yep. Um, I sort of intuitively knew my time in academia was coming to an end in that sense because I
Mhm.
put a lot of time and effort into it.
Mhm.
Um, and I realized I had to go deeper into energy work and
Ah, okay.
yeah, I was always exposed to this kind of work, but it really I had that strong pull. And then one of my colleagues got me into going to a Reiki course with her. And so I dived deep into Reiki. I did similar to Asta as well. I came across Rachel Vaughan, did her courses, ley lines, and did my own numerology reading, and did numerology course with Gigi. And then um, oh, what else did I did land healing course
Okay.
with
So you
Haley.
you swung open
I did everything,
for
and it was
energy.
almost like, yeah. And for me, the I think the stepping stone was the color, but then really accelerated
Yes.
when I did numerology.
Okay.
And then, or Reiki started first, the energy work with Reiki with my hands. And then the numerology was the next step. And from that is like I wanted to learn everything. And I'm still learning so much more. And I did a course with Asta, which really deepened my understanding of the numbers even further. And
And
then,
just for everybody that's listening, I interviewed Asta. That's if you want to go back and have a look, you can have a listen to what she's about because she's
yeah,
wonderful with numbers, isn't
yeah,
she?
it's beautiful work. And yeah, it sort of for me, in within this time, I realized, okay, I need to focus on colors even more so, because really what you can see now, even the current fashion or houses, our cars, everything has this kind of gray tone, not gray, but neutral tone to it.
Yes.
And but we're not neutral. We're not just this big neutral mess or mass. Yeah, we are just different. We have different personalities. We have different um, genetics and unique perspectives on
That's the
lives.
word. That's the word. We're all unique, aren't we?
Yes,
Hmm.
that's right. And so I started then looking how I can, for me, the numbers, the energy of the numbers really resonated, because you could see like number three is speaking, and speaking is connected to your throat chakra, which is when you go from Reiki or chakra points.
Yep.
That's the color blue. So I was like, how can I combine this knowledge with my colors? And that's where I came up with the color blueprint, or
Gotcha.
sometimes I call it your soul aligned colors.
Gotcha.
And this is where this work has just really deepened my understanding and touching people on a different level, rather than just colors for your complexion. It's actually colors for your soul and your actual blueprint. What are you here to do? What are you meant to do? What are your traits? And you can support that with your colors.
So it's a little bit like, if you go and you do a Reiki course or something, you kind of trigger some memory, some experience for yourself. But what I'm hearing from you is that if you look at someone's numerology, which you do, in
Yeah.
conjunction with colors, then by somebody actually wearing that, they are triggering their uniqueness, they're triggering their soul expression.
Mm, exactly. Exactly.
Wow.
And that I'm getting goosebumps. I have goosebumps all over right now. I get this all the time. It's an eye opener. And it was even an eye opener to me, because I look back at the colors that I'm avoiding, even if they might be in my color chart. So when I do color readings, everyone gets a color chart, what colors they can wear or should wear closest to their face.
Sure.
But there are colors in a color chart that don't resonate with me.
Hmm.
And then when I look at that color and go, what is it that's not resonating with me? Where is that sitting within the numbers? And that's the numbers that I'm suppressing.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah. And that is where you then can start seeing, okay, if I start introducing this color in sort of subtle ways. It doesn't have to be a full jumper, or it can be just glasses, or
Or just
you
putting
know,
a scarf
a
on, or
scarf, or nail polish, or jewelry, or whatever it
yeah,
is, yeah, or in your home.
sure.
You start to open up those channels, and you start using your potential. You start bringing out your potential within yourself.
So, what I'm hearing too is, I mean, it's something that I've been looking at it for myself probably since the 2020 as well, is that we have new ways of healing. We
Mm.
don't have to go to the counselor. We don't have to go through therapies. We don't have to spend time crying or getting uncomfortable or angry. This is healing therapy.
It is. It is on a such a deep level when you allow those colors to really resonate with you and see what colors suit your complexion, but also your numbers.
Sure.
You see this on a very different level. It's a lot deeper. Yeah.
And this is a beautiful way. It's really important. I think that that key little mantra, know thyself,
Mm,
is the one and only purpose for anybody at this point in time. Know your design, know your circuitry, your wiring, your energy. When you know it really, really well,
mm.
um, you are being the unique version of yourself.
Definitely, but I think the challenge is allowing that to happen.
Yes,
And
yes.
I know I speak for myself too. I just recently did a another extensive course on color theory within color analysis. So learning different seasons, not just the four seasons. And within this course, I realized I have dimmed my own light by choosing the softer version of the colors and not the brighter versions. And why have I done that? And then I once again I look back at my numbers and gone, I actually need to amplify these colors.
Mhm.
And
Isn't it an evolutionary process, though? I mean,
it's
what you're
amazing.
saying is you've evolved through one way of looking at colors, which was the standard accepted model out in
Mm,
the world, right? Which is where we're all programmed. But then you went, oh, I need to look at it further. So you went and you saw it from a different dimension or a different perspective.
mm.
And now you're doing it again.
Yeah, and it will never stop because this
Yes.
is part of evolution. This is part of your essence. We are
Mhm.
not just like tight like that. Yes, we have like our rhythms, and like as I said earlier in the beginning, before we started recording, I have German traits. I'm on time. I try to be on time. Those kind of essences are within me, but
Mhm.
that doesn't mean that I can't be flexible.
Sure,
Yeah. And
sure.
so that's why evolving is so beautiful because you add, it's not changing things, you're adding to it.
Well, and evolving is energy. I mean, we pay a price. If we try to hold back the dam, you know what I mean? It
Mm,
reminds me of the boy with the finger in the dike, you know? If we hold back that dam, you're going to pay a price. Life wants to keep moving.
mm.
Yeah. And that's what you're talking about too. So, what can somebody get from understanding their own colors and their own numbers?
Their true potential.
Mm,
So really seeing what they've been hiding for or what why they're hiding or dimming. I not necessarily hiding, but sometimes dimming.
mm,
What is it that certain colors trigger them in a certain way? Why are we avoiding colors?
sure.
Um, you know, there's so many social aspects to it as well. Like we don't wear certain colors because they remind you, or they would remind you of a school uniform, or
Sure.
your mum would say, "Oh, that color doesn't look great on you, or makes you look big or skinny, or whatever it is."
Yep.
So we have these perceptions, yeah.
Yep. Programs. Programmed.
Programs, yeah, programs. That's
Absolutely.
right.
And so wearing a color is doing subconscious work without having to do the, like I said earlier, the crying and the anger or the pain or whatever. Wearing a color starts to create that beautiful either acceptance or change.
That's right. And I think also what I've just discovered lately is wearing the, like understanding the intensity of the color, is it a bright one? Is it a softer version? Really going deeper into that as well because you could see a light blue, but you can also see a mid blue and they're both linked to your throat. But which one is it that you need? Is it the light blue or the mid blue, or is it even stronger, a royal blue?
Wow, because I'm just sort of tuning into what you're saying there. And what I'm getting is that depending on the hue, depends on the intensity or the strength that's required for the shift.
That's right. And
Wow.
for me, I was always in the light blue, and I just realized my intensity is actually the royal blue.
Yep,
So that's a huge difference.
sure.
But what is it? Why was I sitting in the light blue, but my intensity is the royal blue? And where's the shift happening? So that is the evolution. That is the change within what you see.
And it sounds like a gentleness in, working with yourself. You accepted where you were ready at that time with the paler blue. And the central nervous system, like maybe it was even helping that to adjust. I kind of see that it needs to regulate. If you go too big a change, too big a step, that central nervous system can start screaming at you and get you worried and anxious. And you're like, why? All I've done is just wear a different color, right?
Mm, mm,
Yeah, but it's just letting you know you need to just take a few steps to
that's
regulate
right.
yourself.
That's right. And but also looking at like being honest with yourself. For me, it's all about that honesty. Like it is so hard to say this sometimes because you feel like, oh, you know everything about color. You need to get it right all the time. But no, you don't. You also make mistakes. But I always was right in the shade, but not in the intensity of the shade.
Yeah.
So it to me it's so important to be honest with people and and share your learning with that as well.
And you know what I love as I'm listening to you? This seems to be the new requirement for healing.
Mm,
Anybody out there that wants to heal something or shift something, find people to teach you who have learned through experience.
yeah.
And I'm listening to you and the honesty and the transparency with your experience. It's like you bring all that energy to a connection with another person. And that just kind of allows them to absorb that energy
Mm,
and make the same sort of shift for themselves. Experience. Trust someone who has experienced
yeah.
what they're about to get you to experience.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
There's authenticity in that, and that's going to become such a big, important word at the moment, being authentic.
That's what we need in this world, yeah.
Yes. So tell me, where did it start for you? Because I know that when you go back into people's stories, that child, that teenager, that whatever was already getting you ready for this. Like, was there a hint of all this intuitiveness and color in your childhood?
So I grew up with meditation teachers.
Oh my
My
God.
parents did transcendental meditation
Uh-huh.
in Germany, and this is back in the time in the 1970s, unheard of. I mean, it was the hippie times, big movement
Yep.
in Germany as well. And my dad had the first commune in Germany, so it was like, it was very different upbringing to the traditional German upbringing.
I love it. I love it. You were unique from the word go.
That's right. And so we were true hippies, like no meat, no drugs, no alcohol, no vaccinations.
Mhm.
So grew up differently. And in the 70s, 80s, it was a lot more fluid as well. They're starting to become more restricted in the medical sense, but it was a lot more open. So I had homeopathy, we had a GP that was a homeopath, like all these kind of ideas
Mhm.
behind it. So whilst that side was really beautiful and taught me a lot, of course, it also came with, because my parents, just after the Second World War, they were born after the Second World War. So there's a lot of limitations within that, and guilt and all of that came within that upbringing, I guess, as well, being
Sure.
German.
Yes, the programming that they got caught up
Yeah.
in. Yeah.
And it's still going on, like in the sense of I only realized when I moved to Australia the massive programming of that as well and the guilt that came with that.
Yes.
And but it allowed this upbringing because it was so different, it allowed me to be different in a crowd in a crowd, yeah.
Sure.
So, but I always wanted to fit in. And I always felt like I was so different, but I wanted to keep that difference, but I wanted to fit in.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
it was it,
I think it's a path that a lot of us have navigated. Conformity,
yeah,
non-conformity. Yes.
that's right.
Yes. So that's so how did fashion come into it?
I so I went at school. I had a friend, and she started making pants for
Hmm.
herself, and I realized I want to learn that too. And so I went to um, the same. It was like an afternoon course they did at school. So I started making my own clothes,
Yeah.
and my father he started working in fashion as well. So my parents divorced when I was 12, and he and his new girlfriend at the time, they started a fashion. They didn't start a fashion label. They started working or had a yeah clothing range, and
Right.
then he discovered that there was no white shirts around, so he started making white shirts, and so he created this new label. And so I was inspired by him a little bit as well, and then started making my own clothes at school, and I realized I wanted to make clothes for people. And
Okay.
so I left school in year 10 and did an apprenticeship as a dressmaker.
Hmm.
And it's a very strong trade in Germany. Back then, I don't know what it's like now, but back then was a very strong trade. And I followed through, did my own masters in dressmaking, had my own business over there. And yeah, and then I met my husband. He was Australian, or he is, not was, he is Australian. Um, he was working over in Germany, and we met, and then we got together, and eventually we moved to Australia.
And how
So,
long ago was that you came here?
2001,
Okay.
2001, yeah,
Long time. Yes.
long time, yes. And I've never, as I said earlier, I never had that feeling of wanting to go to Australia, but once I came here and then flew back home to Germany, I realized Australia is my home. I
Mhm.
had this sense of I've been here before, I don't know where. I've I've found out I've been here many, many lifetimes ago.
Mhm.
Um, but that's this sense of I know this place. And yeah, it was fascinating for me.
We
But
spoke
then,
about that just before we came on, didn't
yeah.
we? And it's like when you know something like that, it's unavoidable. Like,
Yeah, yeah. And that can happen to any country you go and you feel like this is you see something and it reminds you, it triggers you in the sense of an emotion.
Mhm.
It could be music as well. Any of that. I think they're all remnants of a memory of a past lifetime.
Well, I think there's a bigger plan at play here too. I know that just being, having the radio show and interviewing different teachers and practitioners, there's a hell of a theme going on. I've met quite a number of people that have come from other countries to Australia, and Australia seems to be triggering or allowing them to reveal or emerge more creative energy, much more creative energy, which is exactly what Australia needs at the moment, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's a very interesting aspect of that as well. Because what is it that allows us to be so creative here, or that allows us to open these energy portals, I
Yeah,
guess, your
they
own energy portals.
hmm And I
Yeah.
think that, collectively, the creatives like yourself are tapping into those portals and allowing them to open and strengthen,
Mm,
stabilizing them.
yeah. Yeah, but it's interesting to see, and I mean, there is so much history here in Australia as well, but beautiful history that was wiped over once. and the programming again of this.
Yep,
And that's with every country, I guess. Every country has their own
it is.
programming to tell.
Mhm.
But there's an openness, or there's space, not openness, there's space here in Australia. Even if you live, when you live in the cities, it feels spacious, and that allows you to open up
That's a great
further.
way to describe it, actually. I think that, yeah, you're right. There's a space that's allowing that creative energy
Mm,
to move, right? It needs to move and connect with people. And gosh, since 2020, um, I think it's been tapping on a lot of shoulders, waking a whole heap of people up
mhm,
to really just start thinking and questioning who they are, where they're living, what they're doing.
mm,
And what you're doing is supporting that
mm,
through
yeah,
numbers and colors.
mm.
Gosh, people, honestly, get your numbers done, get your colors done. I just, what beautiful, enjoyable ways to discover yourself.
Yeah, it is. Even for me, sometimes I look back at my numbers all the time,
Mhm.
and go over my numbers. And even I know, like, numerologists often do it day by day. I don't do day by day. Sometimes I look back on the day and then think about, but sometimes I go, I love this color. What is it today? Is that really going with my numbers as well?
Right.
So you can look at all of that, but that is probably more on a practitioner level, I guess, when you really live colors and numbers. But on a day to day, yeah, really, what colors resonate with you is so beautiful when you can tap into that energy.
Oh, for sure. It's liberating.
Mm,
So tell me, I know how you got into fashion. I find it when I hear people's stories, it's like, who they've become was always there. It was always there. I
mm.
mean, how incredible is it that your dad got into fashion? There's no randomness about all of this stuff. But generational, like you talked about Germany, and they were born post-war, so they learned programming from their parents. Your parents were programmed themselves. Have you stopped the generational programming?
Wow, what a question. I just got goosebumps all over again. Um, to a large, yes.
Yes.
I definitely think there's still elements there where I get triggered. The generational programming, I had to learn so much through my own children.
Yes.
I think they're my teachers, big time, big time, big time.
Good
Um,
point. They are. Yep.
yeah, and especially you get given children that bring, I mean, it's not random. This happens for a reason, yeah.
Yeah.
So
They're our
when
mirrors. They're our mirrors. Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely, yes. And it is beautiful to see for my own self how I was able to relax into my skin, and not letting the programming go. And I have moments back, probably in before 2020, where I was massively in the programming.
Mhm.
You need to behave in a certain way. The school is calling me, this is wrong, blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
But now understanding, first of all, his numbers, the
Kids,
energy
you
of
mean,
that as
have
well.
you got a son? Have you?
I've got two sons, yeah.
Two sons.
Two
Gotcha.
sons, yeah. Always wanted girls, but I got two sons, and I'm so happy that I have these two beautiful souls.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so understanding that energy, and I'm still learning.
Yes.
As they get older, I'm still learning. And they're both very different. They're both very different.
As we said earlier about conformity and non-conformity, I mean, to have your own business in Germany, to study fashion, to get a master's, you had to be a part of the programming, part
Yeah,
of the systems.
yeah.
But then you also, I mean, God bless your parents,
Mm,
had a whole childhood of non-conformity
yeah.
as a really brilliant foundation to support you. So then 2020 comes along. You just have to dip back into your childhood and start using that energy to deal
Yeah.
with school and those sorts of things.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, there's moments in life where I questioned other parts as well. Always knew something didn't line up. Like I never understood politics. I never understood how things would work.
Mhm.
And through 2020, it just like it was like, oh my God, it makes sense now. Now I'm getting it. And I know like my dad was in particularly guiding that side a lot, always talking about um, concepts. They're so out there that you sometimes would go like, what? I don't understand what you're talking about. And now it just everything made sense. And it was so brilliant to know that there's someone there and that since knowing that there's so many more in my family, especially on his side, that are so aware and understand. It's almost like a foundation that I got given that was always there, but I never knew it was there.
Yes. Yes, it's beautiful because then you get to lean on that when you need to.
That's right.
Yeah. And so when I spoke about have you broken the generational patterns, sounds like you have.
Yeah, but I think there's still structural elements there where I just go like, Nina, you need to work on that.
Okay.
Yeah, some of those. I guess it's normal. Yeah, that's human.
I think it's normal for all of us that
Yeah,
are conscious to the fact that we've all been programmed.
yeah,
We've all been programmed. And I think we are a generation or two that are looking at it now and going, okay, so we're in between. It's like how I introduced the show. It's like we're breaking free from limiting systems and, limiting lives
yeah,
because that's what the programming had done to us, limited us, right? And I think that people like you, it's time everybody goes, focus on the energy. Focus on the energy. Stop focusing on all the material things. I think the last I looked, material or physical world is 0.036% of what exists.
mm,
And what you're doing, and
mm,
many are doing, are going, watch the energy, right? And start changing your energy, evolving your energy. And what a beautiful way to do it through color. It's like you're bringing us back to, you call it the uniqueness, right? The authentic you, but it's our true selves, isn't it?
yeah. It's definitely our true selves, but allowing that true self to come out. This is what I just realized in the last few years is this what makes it to be you,
Mm.
your energy. And as I said earlier, like, is it like the dimmed version or is it the bright version? What is it that needs to be out there? Is this more you or that more you? And that,
Oh,
yeah,
I thought you were talking about the colors that we were
colors
wearing,
as well.
but I
Yes,
love what you just said.
yeah,
Are you being the dim version or the
yeah,
bright version of
yeah.
yourself?
And that reflects within color.
Sure.
So when you see people hiding
Yep.
and not being themselves, they're often in dimmed colors because they don't want to be
What,
seen.
what was I doing years ago when I was wearing black all the time?
Mm, that's right.
What does that mean?
Black means what are you hiding? It has different meanings
Yes, yes. But,
because
for me, yeah, you're right. It was like, it was basically just about turning invisible.
yes, it is putting a shade over you. It's putting a shadow, um, yeah, dimming your light.
I thought it was
Because
power dressing.
yes, but power dressing, that is in combination with other colors.
Well, I think I was just kidding myself, to be honest. Yes.
Because we do think, or most people think that black is that color because in there's been studies done with sales studies
Hmm.
about what sells the best when people wear certain colors, and
As
it's
the
not brown and
salesperson.
as the salesperson.
Yep.
And it's not brown and orange or purple. It is dark blue, black, but with a white shirt,
Mhm.
a yellow or red tie, or blue tie. So you can do that with a blue scarf or yellow or red. And that's why you see politicians wearing those colors.
Absolutely. That's what I was just saying then. That's
Yeah,
why they wear it.
that's right.
Mhm.
And so it's the perception that we have of certain colors. So what, and then also, I mean, think about it. Everything we do is regulated by an authority. So the colors that we see in the shops are done or trickled down by about four different forecasting companies in the world.
Oh, so
It's the same as media, yeah?
this is
It,
like I'm thinking, when you go into a store and there's lines on
correct.
the floor, you unconsciously follow the lines. Different smells get you thinking certain things, but you're saying they're also setting up colors all around you as well. Okay.
Yes, so when you look then at why do we see a certain fashion trend in certain colors? Why it's the same with cars, with houses, with everything, yeah? It's the same everywhere. But why is that happening? And it's because it's been it's been dictated from the top down. And then we think, oh, the next fashion trend or color trend is brown. But is it really?
Actually, the movie The Devil Wears Prada.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what she's called, Meryl Streep in the
Yeah.
movie, but she says one thing when they're trying on different fashion, and that new girl, played by Anne Hathaway, is there watching and dressed in her dowdy, dusty blue jumper. There's something where Meryl Streep's
Yeah,
character says to her, "You think you chose that jumper?"
that's right.
You know, it started, yeah, like you're saying,
Mm.
up top somewhere in management, and it trickled its way down. So they are telling us they're setting up programs.
That's right. But the uniqueness is when you then understand your colors, you are not limited to those colors. And yes, you have times where you don't have to, or you can't find your colors, you don't buy anything.
Okay. Yes.
And so you are really truly living yourself
Yes.
within the color spectrum and your numbers, because I'm tapping into those, your numbers. That allows you to forget about what fashion tells you to. Yes, you can still be fashionable and you can, we still live in this realm, yeah? We're still part of this program.
Yeah.
But how are we tapping into that? How are we using that for ourselves? Are we restricted and we have to follow it, or are we unique to ourselves?
So you're actually waking people up and making them conscious.
Hmm. I never saw it that way.
You're
Thank
making
you.
them conscious. They're
Yeah,
starting to recognize you can either be a part of the program and doing
yeah,
things unconsciously,
yeah,
start to consciously look at your colors and your trends and your buys.
yeah. Beautiful.
Wow. So energetically, so you said, so all the spiritual, what everyone calls the spiritual work started for you post 2020,
Yeah.
right? So who are we becoming? This is, there's whole sort of scenarios out there about how we operate authentically. Who do you see us becoming? Where are we headed?
Wow, that's a deep question. For me, I can see there's so many more people, whatever stage they're in, but they're allowing themselves to see themselves deeper than just, okay, I was born here, I go to work, I do this, I do that, and what's my purpose here? They don't know. Some people just don't know, but there is a sense of people starting to understand what it is to be here on this planet, in this 3D version of ourselves. And it's not this is only one part. I'm sure I've been here thousands of times,
Hmm.
in different forms and different connections with other people, and understanding that there's so many more people waking up to that.
Yep.
Um, I often don't see it that much because I was exposed to this very early on in my life, talking about reincarnation and you know that spiritual side of it.
Yep.
So I was always around people who were quite open to that, but I
Mhm.
can see it now more and more, and it becomes more mainstream to talk about it, which
I
is
just love what you just said, though. It's
yeah,
natural part of you, right? It's your foundation.
yeah,
So I'm seeing, like you said, we're moving into more depth, and it's going to be more than the 3D,
yeah,
right? And we are multidimensional. That's how I term it. We're
yeah.
multidimensional.
It's beautiful.
And we're just focusing on one dimension, and people have to start shifting out of that. So, multidimensional just opens up a spectrum for how we're going to operate.
Yeah. I I do think that we can operate within this system, but it's going to be you choose how you do that.
Hmm.
That's what I've noticed with people. They choose how to do it. I still work in certain systems,
Yep.
and I still do certain things just how it's always been.
Yes.
But understanding that there's so much more, which is
Yes.
it's wonderful. It
It's
opens up.
navigating both, isn't it? It's
That's right.
navigating the old programming and creating the new programming. It's how I've always seen it. I did some public speaking back in 2022. People wanted to know how I unplugged from the
Mm,
system in certain
mm,
ways. And part of what I would say to people is don't fight it, don't argue with it.
that's right.
I'm learning, like, if I want to treat everything with kindness and respect, then I expect it back as well. And I hear that that's similar to what you're doing. It's treating the old and the new with respect because we are living through the transition.
Yeah, and we might not see the full transition.
Mhm.
So, because I've heard this since day one, since I was born, we're living in a transition, yes?
Yes.
That's because through my parents. And, but it definitely feels it's opening up so much more. It definitely feels that way. But I think when you allow yourself to be in both, you stop stressing about everything that comes from the outside. It gives you a center, it gives you this core strength that even in my early days, I never had. I never understood. But yeah, I think there's a lot more people, they're moving, shifting away from awakening, being angry, fighting, to more, okay, I can't do anything about this right now. Is it affecting me right now? No, it's not. What is the purpose for this? Can I just steadily move straight forward?
And when you said before about, kind of finding this core, finding this inner balance,
Yeah.
is that in the head or the body?
That's the body. For me, it's not the head.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And what I'm hearing is the old world, the old systems are mental energy.
Yeah.
We're built with our minds,
Yeah.
right? The new world, the new energy is that we're helping everybody to drop out of the mind and into the body. Because I think that, as a practitioner myself, I've been watching people running around and their bodies dragging along behind them, people even afraid of their own bodies and afraid of feeling. And you and what you're doing, you're getting them into the body.
Yeah. And when you were talking about it, I just got full goosebumps again,
Okay.
feeling the body.
So tell me, what do the goosebumps mean to you?
It's truth.
Okay.
It resonates with me. It's like, wow, yes, that
Yes.
that is it.
Yes. I
Yeah.
think that's probably the biggest transition that's happening right now
Mm,
that people aren't all conscious of is that you're all getting out of your heads and
mm,
into your body
mm.
because we need to be a combination of both. That's authentic. Yeah.
That's right. And it doesn't mean that we sometimes get in our heads. I have those
No,
times too. It's
no.
it is yeah, but reminding yourself coming back into that center
Yes.
and not being caught up in fear.
And you could do that if with a color, with a color
Mm.
pashmina or a shawl and wrapping that around yourself, you can immediately get yourself into your body. Yeah.
You could, yes, definitely. Beautiful. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. So I think
totally.
that what you're doing is getting people into that dimension. The third dimension, time, space, is the mind,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
the body and the combination, I suppose, of both is multi-dimensional.
Multidimensional, yeah. I never saw it that way, but yeah, beautiful.
Oh, it's my language now.
Yeah, I love it.
Absolutely. I just think that us having conversations like we're having now are multidimensional. You
Yeah,
know, they're just connecting with different portals and energies, and out we go into the world,
it's the
changing the world
frequency.
with a conversation.
Yeah, beautiful.
Absolutely. So, what next for you?
I am focusing on building bigger um, and stronger. I want this color blueprint. Um, I want this to be something that people can resonate, can grow from. So for me, this is my learning hasn't finished. I'm continuing to add, doing a tarot course at the moment. There's so many layers I want to, and it doesn't mean that I do tarot cards now, but it's the energy of what cards mean, um, and that it'll be travel one day. It'll be so many things.
It gives you language. It gives
That's
you
right.
language, yeah.
Language,
And
yeah.
I think that that's part of the kind of shift happening at the moment too. Because when we get into our body, I know this from my own experience. I sat down one afternoon decades ago and opened my heart in an afternoon
Mm.
by writing a letter. I cried through it, I screamed through it, I screwed up a million pieces of paper, and I finally wrote this letter. But what I realized more than anything is when I got out of mental energy and I got into my body, it was like opening up a dictionary.
Wow.
It was like I had access to all these words that mentally I was limited by, right?
Wow. That's incredible. I
It
need to
was.
do that too. Yes.
Gave me the understanding that when we're just operating out of our mental energy, we're limited. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
And you are learning tarot and other things because it's giving you a language,
Yeah.
more and more language, because you need to explain to people. And as you explain to people what you do, you're weaving words,
Yeah.
and energy.
Yeah, and it's also you don't have to limit yourself by you learning this one method. If you learn multiple different things, you find eventually how you can mix them and they become something completely unique. And this is what I've done with the color blueprint, that it is unique to me. I've created this,
Mhm.
but it never stops.
Mm.
I want to add more to it, more depth, more layers, because we need to understand so much more. This is just scratching the surface.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
What are we capable of, hey?
I think a lot more than what we think.
I mean, as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking about people that see numbers as colors,
Yeah, I
do
mean,
mathematics as colors, and
yeah,
those, it's like, wow, we've really put who we are into such a box.
yeah, it's a small box. Yeah, not a, it's a very small box.
Yes. Yes. So you are learning to unpack that box and then
Yeah,
throw the package away.
Yes, that's right. No boxes anymore.
No boxes.
No
How
boxes.
is that rubbing off on your children?
Yeah, that's very interesting question. We talk about everything and anything. It's very important to open up those conversations. You need to let them experience their own ways. I sometimes still struggle, still have those programmings, especially with one of them.
Huh?
And this is always, one is my teacher and the other one is my healer. So it's this combination. But it's so important for children to have a voice and to be able to give their opinions, and you talk about it and
Yeah.
be honest about it. And but then you, and that's the hard part, to let go as a
Yes.
parent, to let go,
Yes.
because it's their own journey, it's their own path.
Yes.
um
It is hard because programming teaches us different. I mean, I
yeah.
remember, trying to, forewarn my kids or, show them what I thought was the right way to go. And I was pulling them away from their inner workings
Mm.
and not encouraging them to work things out for themselves. And I had an epiphany one day where it was like, oh, they're not mine. They're not
Yes,
mine.
I know.
Right. My job was to create a safe and, supportive space until they left the nest. And, other than that, they were souls in their own right. Yeah.
It's difficult to not see them as yours, but when you give birth, it's the first step of letting go. You stop breastfeeding if you breastfeed, you let go again. Cutting the
Mhm.
cord as well is letting go.
Yes.
School is letting go.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
moving out is letting go. It's all these little steps.
You're absolutely right. And each and every one of them I saw was preparing me and preparing me and
Yes.
preparing me. But then I started to compare. I started to watch women around me who were
Yeah.
hanging on.
Yeah.
And I was watching this codependency going on, which was really quite awful. Was really quite awful. And
Mm.
I realized that that had happened to me too when I wanted to leave the nest. And then I was too scared to leave the nest because, I was feeling the tug of war between my
Yeah.
parents and me. And I declared that I was going to find a way to do that in a better way.
Mm.
I did.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's the evolution, yes?
It is. Every little bit from when they're born is saying, let go, let go,
This
let
is
go, right?
very true. Very true. Yes.
Yes. And your home, does the color extend into your home as well?
I use the colors that I don't have in my chart for the colors in my home. So I have a lot of cool tones actually in my number chart and in my external complexion chart. And I use warm tones in my home. So I have lots of earthing, grounding tones in my home. So I balance that out. And I'm lucky my kids and my husband are very similar tone to me. So there's not a clash in that sense. But always trying to find a balance, because there's warm tones and there's cool tones and there's different shades of them as well. So what are you for your complexion and your numbers, and what is missing, you can definitely introduce into your home so that you have that beautiful balance and you're not feeling all in your head or all grounded and can't move. So it's this
Gotcha.
beautiful harmony between those upper and lower chakras as well. So you can see it as chakra points, because from the heart up is all cool and your head, and from the heart down is all warm and grounding.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you can see it all. So you can see now how that, even in color theory, how that comes in, and color analysis and numbers as well. They're all linked together like that. Warm, um, grounding, going down and up, cool, in your head.
So that would also, I'm just thinking now, it could make you feel uncomfortable walking into certain rooms or environments because of the color.
Definitely. I mean, even the perception of the color on your walls. I mean, I have it's a white wall, But if you would paint this room yellow and the same room blue, you have the same temperature, but you'd have a different temperature feeling. So
Mm.
the warm yellow would give you a warmer temperature as a feeling. The temperature is exactly the same, but the blue
Blue is
one would,
cool.
so the yellow is warm, would make it warmer.
Mhm.
You would feel warmer, and a room in light blue, for example, would make it a lot cooler.
Yes. Because I
So,
remember reading that a lot of dentists, and then I still, of course, started noticing it. A lot of dentists do blue.
yeah. Yeah, so we have different perceptions of colors as well, and they come from social perceptions. They could be we wear black for funerals, for example, but in China, I think it's white. So it's completely different. It's just because we think this is our perception of a color, it doesn't mean somewhere else it's exactly the same.
Mm.
And even colors like, why is it called royal blue?
Yes.
Because only royals were allowed to wear that blue because it was so expensive, and that was the status of the people back then.
Yes.
And so we don't understand all color now. This discussion about color pink and color blue, boys, girls, and gender. I mean, pink used to be a male dominant color because it was a
Really?
soft, yes, it was a softer version of red, and it gave that power because there's a lot of red in pink.
Mhm.
Whereas blue was being watery, soft, and that's more for women. So it has changed.
Oh.
Or the color, why do we think that black is elegant? Because Coco Chanel introduced it.
Yes, there she
And
is. Mhm.
yeah, and so these are not always, these perceptions have not always been there, and we don't have to follow all of this.
Right. Wow, I
Yeah.
did not know about the pink and the blue.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. I mean,
I know.
it's only really limited to the education that we've had, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's a slither of, and even my knowledge is just a slither of something. There's so much more. You could look so deep into plants as well. You could, if you do dyeing with plants, like fabric dyeing,
Mhm.
it's unlimited knowledge. You can go in so many ways.
Here she goes. She's just opened up Pandora's
Yeah,
box.
I know. Definitely.
Oh my God, but that is just such a gorgeous way to wrap it up because we're just about out of time. It has been such a pleasure. I want to encourage people that want to know their numbers or their colors to connect with you. I've got your website. I've got also your Instagram. Is that the best way that people can connect with you?
Beautiful. Yes, that's the best way. My website or Instagram, that's where you find me.
Okay, I've got both of those and they'll be in the show notes for anybody. It's like, come on, step into the new reality of who we are and start operating on your colors and your numbers. It opens up a whole different world, doesn't it?
Beautiful. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It's your unique color blueprint.
It's your unique color blueprint.
Mm.
Nina, it's been such a pleasure getting to know all sorts of different bits and pieces about you. You've had an incredible journey in this life. And as you say, you're not done yet.
Nope, not done yet. It's growing.
Fabulous. Thank you so much
Beautiful.
for
Thank you so much.
speaking.
Thank you, Helen.